we talked about what to expect somewhat in a maybe Sean Walker return last week, what you think his value is. Nick Seeler is a defenseman for the Flyers that he's pending UFA. A lot of people thought he would be traded last year. He wasn't. Now it looks as if the Flyers kind of looking to retain him. A report came out over the last couple days. I saw Saravalli with it on his pod. I heard the Fourth Period with it on Twitter, that Seeler is looking for a bit more than the Flyers are comfortable with. The Flyers like him at $2.5 or $3 million. He wants a fair bit more, was the quote I saw. What do you think is fair value for Nick Seeler?
Okay, so first of all, I think what the Flyers are willing to pay him is too much. So never mind what he thinks he's worth.
The 2.5 to 3, I think, is like the absolute upper limit. Like, that's the 2.5 is okay. I could probably live with that.
No, absolutely not. That's crazy. Like, sorry, Nick Seeler. Like, you've had a couple good seasons, and now you think you're going to be getting Chris Tanev money? Are you out to lunch? Are you crazy? I'm sure some dumb team is going to pay that, but it definitely can't be the Philadelphia Flyers because they've got Rasmus Ristolainen on the books still at a contract that he should not have. And so you look at this, if I'm being straight honest with you, Nick Seeler is a third-pairing defenseman. They don't get term or money, and they shouldn't get term or money. Nick Seeler is probably not worth more than 1.75, frankly, like if we're being dead honest here. And so I think the Flyers offering him two something, that's too much money to begin with, but it's a lot closer to fair than whatever he thinks he's getting. Like, you're not getting $4 or $5 million. That's what Chris Tanev's going to get. Like, you're insane. It's just not happening. And if it does, that GM should be immediately dismissed. Like, you're out to lunch as far as I'm concerned. And so I think if that number is, frankly, if it's above 2, I'm walking away from Nick Seeler. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, I'm trying to and I know I could just go by cap percentage and figure this out quickly, but the idea, what 2.5 to 3 million means in my head, because the cap's basically been the same since 2018, what that means in my head versus what it's going to mean over the next 2 to 3 years as hopefully it continues to go up. Maybe that changes the conversation a little, but man, it just seems like a shit ton to pay for a player who, yeah, he blocks a ton of shots. He's tough as hell, but you should be able to find right? That's it.
Is he a difference maker? Does he win you games? No, he does not. Nick Seeler is not the reason the Philadelphia Flyers are winning hockey games. I hate to break it to him, but that's not how this works. And when you want to be a contender, and the Flyers want to be contenders in a few years, if you want to be a contender, you need efficient contracts. You need to use your salary cap efficiently. And paying that amount of money, regardless of whether or not the cap is going up, for a third-pairing defenseman on any kind of term is, one, something they're already doing with Rasmus Ristolainen, and we're seeing that play out. So they've already overspent on their bottom-pairing defenseman. They don't have room to overspend on another bottom-pairing defenseman. And frankly, you need efficient contracts if you're going to be a contender. And Nick Seeler at anything over $2 million is totally inefficient and should not happen.
We all silly like the mayor.